Welcome back to Real World Maps for You. Today I wanted to show you my progress after 58 hours, or lack of it, on my Conway, Beaver Falls, United States map. What do you mean, lack of progress? Well, look, I've done almost so much here. I had it almost done. And then, yep, I got so involved in doing this that there was a niggly little thought going on in my brain, and I ignored it, and I kept ploughing on for 58 hours. I just lost for words. It was looking brilliant, except for one thing. I got the proportions wrong. Oh my God, did I get the proportions wrong? I'm supposed to be making an 8 kilometre wide by 24 kilometres high, large, 1:3 real world map of this region along the Ohio River. Do you remember when I grabbed that part of Google Maps and I measured it out, and I went 8 kilometres across and then up to 24 kilometres? Yeah. Yep. G'day, I'm Spry, and this is where I stuff up making Transport Fever 2 maps so that you don't have to. Yes, it was supposed to be 8 kilometres wide and then went up to 32 kilometres. Because, I'd planned to have Vanport, which is here, and the bridge across the Ohio River and everything else. So, guess what? I started again. Well done, you. I tell you what. So, after 58 hours, I now want to show you my progress on the correct Conway, Pennsylvania, Ohio River, Beaver Falls, USA map. Let's lose the head and the wrong map, and we'll get stuck into it. And here we are back in the map editor after loading in the correct 8 by 24 kilometre height map for the Conway Yard and Ohio River. Oh my God. Right, what's the difference? Well, okay, the other map, the wrong one, stopped here. Once I get the correct dimensions in, we see that we actually go further south, down the Ohio River, to Ambridge, with the bridge across the river here, and curves around and plonks into here. Oh, look at these hills. I love them. Yep. Well, that's the other thing. I actually, on the original map, I think I only came up to about 340 metres. This one, it's 390. And if we look at these hills here, you might think, oh, they look a bit odd. Well, they do at the moment, but give it time. If we compare this to the similar scene from Google Earth, yeah, they don't look too bad. They don't look too bad at all. And we've got lots and lots and lots of dots to deal with. Look at them all. They're everywhere. But let's keep coming up the river, please. Up, and around and over. Now, I wanted to include this bridge here at Vanport. Guess what? I've got it now, instead of stopping here somewhere. Math. despite having a mathematics master as a father. It's never been my strong point. But never mind. Okay, let's come up the river further, and we're coming uppity up, and we've come up to here. It's the same spot. Yep, except it's now actually 24 kilometres long. And the first thing I've got to do, as normal, is to gouge out the main river, or the oceans, or whatever the main water feature is on the map. And no, I'm not doing desert maps. I don't like them. So let's have a look at what this river looks like after spending a little bit of time on it. And as you can see, we have quite a few different variations. All right. So that was the base. This is the river. Right. Load the river. Let's have a look at it. 1.3 hours so far. Right. And all I've done is set the terrain brush, the leveller, the flatten tool to 10 metres under the waterline, and just gouged out carefully along here, as careful as I possibly could, where the Ohio River goes. Right, haven't worried about smoothing off the edges or anything else yet. That comes a lot later. And coming up here. Now, the interesting part about all of this is that from about here, there's several different weirs that put this at a much higher level than is shown here, which means I end up with steep banks. But it's only 10 metres or so, so how big is it? All right, so we've got a 200 and something, and we're up to 220. It's only about 10 or 15 metres, so that can be smoothed out easy enough. This little creek, and it is only a creek, I decided that it should be navigable for game purposes, because I want to be able to use shipping to bring stuff down the river. So, yep, that's it. And while I'm talking navigable, you can't see it at the moment, but there is another little creek that flows through here into a lake here. I actually, in the final map, have that navigable so that we can have maybe ferry services or something like that. Now, what's the best way? Have a look at this. Look at the creeks that flow into the hinterland. Now, obviously, we're at 50 odd metres above water level, so we can't use the base water level, and this is something I wish Transport Fever 3 would do, but it won't happen, is to have real water up here. Instead, what I did was used these guys here, right? Player ownership, no, right? I've used the large urban streets, right? And what I've done is quite simple. Basically, just do this. Oh, come on. Yeah. All right, bendy. A lot of fiddling around. It didn't take long to do this, but all of these have now got these running up through here. Now, why? Right, why? Well, when I start planting trees, I can simply plant trees over these roads and then delete the roads, and we'll have the waterways still showing. Or at least that's the plan. Some of these I got totally wrong. I thought they were creeks, but they weren't. They actually turned out to be main roads or normal roads, so that's all right. We pick up on that later when I get down to trying to finalise what on earth's going on with this map. But so basically every one of these creek systems gets that treatment, and then come over low strength soft brush and just maybe not so soft, just smooth it out. Lots and lots and lots of smoothing, because this is all pretty jaggedy, so I just like to smooth this out as I'm going, placing all these. Careful you don't run over those. What are those? They're the roads, so you don't want to smooth them out while you're doing this. But put your creek down, and you just killed a road. Whatever. And then come in over the hills. See, just smooth them out. Don't take the road out. Okay, I won't. Right. Lots more of that across the entire map. Now, because I have done that using that brush, then I can simply click on the magic wand, and all of those creeks and so on will stand out, so you can see what the hell's going on. And this is going to help you later when you have to work out where the hell your tree's got to go, because for those that don't know, and I'm just grabbing a brush here, it's not the brush I would normally use, but I just do that along all of the creeks that I've got in there, right? So once I've put all of these roads in for the creeks, the next step is to go along like that and fill in and play with the contour lines. Right, contour lines. Well, this is the benefit of being in the Scouts when you're a teen, when you're a young lad, back when Noah was a boy. You can see I can just follow the contour lines, because the steep bits, or the bits where the creeks are, chances are there's not going to be any clearing done, there's not going to be any activities, farming activities done, so that, particularly when you look at an aerial view of this area, there's lots of trees here, lots of trees. So I've just grabbed the brush, just grab the tree brush, full strength, right, just ploughing it on. We'll get to trees in a minute. Trees are an important part of map design. So painty, etc. Right, get the idea? That's a bit steep, so I'll be putting trees along there like so. We'll have a look at some other places. Let's bring up the final creeks then. Righto, 7 hours, six hours, let's say 6 hours later, I have selected the large urban street and hit the magic wand, and there's all the creeks on the map. Wow. Alright, let's have a better look at that. Maybe we can do that. No, I don't want that one. I think they'll stand out better like this. Yep. Alright. So we can now see where all the couple of them I actually was able to get the game water level through, so that's alright, but most of them I've sort of painted. Well, I haven't painted them, I've shown where they go. A lot of these actually turned out to be, that's actually a road up through here, so yeah, I found that out later. But the interesting thing is here is that we've got flat, then hilly, and then flat-ish, and up and down, but then over the top here, flat-ish. Yeah, I love the countryside. It's freaking brilliant. Over here, flat, up the creek, hilly, and then flat again. So not so flat, but certainly not that too hilly. Right. Okay. And the reason I've done this is so that these stay here until the last trees are in place and have been fitted out properly with the thinning brush, because, as I said, I have to come over to assets, and these aren't the trees I'm using, because you know that I don't use those guys. Hate the Scots pines. Hate. All right, let's have a little look. What do we need to know here? Right. Let's find a steep bit, right? Because, that looks like there's a road goes down there. Yep, sure does. But we're not for trees yet, aren't we? No. Damn. That's right. I don't do trees yet. I got to get the roads in first, you goose. Like I said, I make the blunders so you don't have to. Right. Anyway, so there's our final waterways. Right. Final waterways. Thank you. There we go. Oh my God. Now it's time to join up the dots. Okay. 7 hours in so far. How long's it going to take me to join up all of those dots? Place your bets now, ladies and gentlemen, because we have creeks in there. Right now, main routes. Can't spell. This is all of the railway lines and major roads, and it was going to be just the railway lines and major roads. It turned out to be every street possible. Yeah, it's just... Okay, how long did you say? Right, as you can see, that's about 37 and a bit hours. Holy crap. Yeah, to put these guys in place. Right, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Player ownership. Yep. Several lots of roads here. Okay, let's have a look, refresh our memory. We'll go back to there's the creeks, right? These guys are all of the normal streets. These guys here are the main roads. Yeah, okay, I thought that was a river. Yeah, it turned out to be a main road. Right, okay. Look at the main connectors everywhere, right? And the most important one, ready, is this guy. Right, let's come down. This is the railway line. So it's just the small country road with player ownership. And starting here, and I've looped it under the river. There's a tunnel there that goes under the river so that we can, for game purposes, have trains running all over the place. But let's follow this one up. Right, okay. Joining these dots. Oh my God. Yeah. Not fun. And I don't like the way it goes like that in the game. So had to be extra careful that I didn't have too many of those. But you were saying, let's come back to the railway line. Yes, please. Okay, railway lines coming up both sides of the Ohio River. Looks like there's a yard of some description there. Looks like there's a yard of siding there. Another little siding coming up. Start of Conway Yard. Yes, it's got some roads going through it as well. And that doesn't look right. No, it doesn't. But look, don't worry about it. No. Don't worry about it. You saw that already, and you've got it fixed in the final, which is all that matters. Right. How many hours? This is 30 hours. Wow. That's a lot of time. Oh, well, hey, I got nothing better to do. This retired lad has time to kill. Unfortunately, it's murder on the eyes. Absolutely murder. And the hay fever that I've had hasn't helped, because that's hurt a lot too. Oh, hello. Here's our bridge over the river at Vanport. Yes, and let's go to this guy. This isn't there in real life. I've added this bit, and then I've cruised back down here. This is all meant to be player. This is part of the Pittsburgh coal fields, because coal had to come from somewhere, and then it continues all the way down to the bottom end of the map here, and you can't see it yet, but I have added a nice loop to come back around into here, so that, yeah, it's not an obvious one. It goes through the countryside Looks bloody marvellous. Right, coming back up, where are we? Back to this one, back to the railway lines. Whoa. Right, up both sides of the river, there's a little, I think that was a passenger stop at some stage. Right, okay. For Rochester? Is that Rochester? I think so. All right. Massive arrangement here with the roads and so on. Yeah, good luck with trying to work that out. And then we get up to the top of the map again, and these go straight ahead. All three. That one, and that one go straight ahead. This line, I think, goes for many hundreds of kilometres over to the Mesabi Ranges in Minnesota to pick up iron ore. So that's what's going to be there. Right, now, once you've got all the streets in and that you've gone berserk with the levelling tool, the smoothing tool to get rid of the bumpy bumps, right, most of them anyway, to give the game a nice foundation to build on. That's a bit, yeah, well, can't all be perfect, unlike you. Yeah, right. Now comes the fun bit. Oh, good. So we haven't been having fun up till now. I've gone dotty, I tell you. All right, okay. What's next? Trees. Right. Okay. My tree technique, please. Yes, good. Assets. Trees. Right, set them up. Kill the apples, kill the Scots pines, and go full strength. That'll do, and go big brush. Now, essentially, maybe that one because it's got a firmer edge. Yeah, that's a better one. Essentially, if we just follow the road carefully, right, and then just whiz up into the gap there, and then straight back down again. Okay, up to the road. And these streets that are in place help you determine how far your forests can go, I think. Right? And we just keep going around. Right, we're back here. Yeah, that looked like a... Okay, contour lines. Yeah, yep. So, keep in mind where the contour lines are so that we don't go too berserk, but basically that's too big. Righto. No, that's a creek, so it would come all the way up there. Right, that's a flatter area of ground there. So what you want to do is you want to fill in where the creeks are, because these are the bits that wouldn't have been cleared, that would still be bushland and so on. But the leveler bits, the flatter bits, higher up, will be the bits that would have been cleared for farming. So that one we can take up to the road, I think. We could probably take it across there, and then... Okay, do that all over the map. Right. Now, there are a couple of things that you need to know about this. First up, let's come down to where those cliffs... Oh, what's this? Oh, I had a couple of areas that I treed while I was doing the roads, just to make sure that I didn't come back later and kill that, right? And similarly, way down here near Ambridge, I've come in with a smaller brush and just carefully gone around where these exposed cliffs are, right? And for a very small brush, take it down to about 22, just come in and filled along here and along the ledges and that sort of thing. Right. What else? River edges, yes, alright. Let's go about at a 50 and just go paint. Now, it's full strength. I'm not going to worry about anything because I am going to, once all of this is done, I've got to thin the trees out. But basically, if you look at Google Earth and you look at the Google Maps, whatever, you look at the satellite images, and that's a bit hard to do along there. Okay. You'll notice that there are basically trees. That's a bit thick, isn't it? Look, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There are basically trees all the way along the river. And why not? So, that's one of the things, many things that you've got to do is, ta-da. Well, these bridges look super cool. Yeah, they do, don't they? Lots and lots. Well, not many, but enough. Hopefully the game won't object to the traffic. Here we go. Zoom in small, right, smaller, please. Take it right down. Okay. Just cruise along the top of, and then smaller again, and just dabbity, dab. Now you'll notice the trees in the game have a ground texture, that's brown, right? It will take over the thing being the rock, but that's okay. That sort of just helps blend it in if you're careful. And if you accidentally kill some rock, then just come back and delete the tree or reduce the density of the trees. So, how many hours here? Oh, God. Well, the good thing is that I knew what I was doing the second time around. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, enough of that. Anything else you wanted to show? No, I've shown the cliffs. I've shown the water. Oh, I know there was something else. If we look at the water, you'll see that there are a few trees in the water. Now, tree count is important in this game. You want to keep the number of trees as low as possible, simply because that means that the computer doesn't have so much damn work to do. We'll talk more about tree count in a little bit, but these ones here, you can't see them anyway. So why are you getting rid of them? Just to reduce the tree count. Right. Easy enough to do, just zappity-doo-dah. And yeah, I don't know how many trees I've killed by doing this. Doesn't matter. You just don't want them in the water. And as you can see, there are quite a few. Okay. What else? Steep bits. Right, steep bits. Yeah. They would have trees on them. Oops. Try trees. They would have trees on them. Right? Flat bits. Probably no trees. You could perhaps strength right down, brush size right up, and just very tappity tap if you wanted to, but that's entirely up to you, and it's probably more of a final dressing of the map to do that sort of thing. So maybe at this stage just simply concentrate on plastering these damn things everywhere where there's a river. Right? Thick as. Might as well cover that. Right? Might as well cover all of that. Okay, up to the... Whoops, too far. Was it? No, probably wasn't. Follow that road up and curve it around a little bit. Yeah, you'll get the hang of it. There's a road there. I think I want to follow that road. Maybe not right along that side of the road. Right. Speaking of roads, see how we've got some trees. We'll just, hang on, I'll just fill in this bit. Okay. A lot of the main roads, where's the main road? That would be that guy without player ownership. Okay, there's the main road. Now up around here, there's probably going to be some trees all through there, so I'm not going to demonstrate here. What I want to demonstrate is if I drop this right down to about 35, maybe a bit more. All right. And again, just carefully, carefully, he says. Yeah, don't worry too much about it. Because the good thing about having all of these roads here is that the trees don't appear under the road. And that's the thing about this here, is that with the rivers and the creeks and so on, is that later on, okay, and as I said, leave it till the very end before you do this next bit, right, the very end, okay, after you've planted everything, right, because the final step here is to go just like that. Now you may or may not decide to paint the river. You can if you want to. Forest green is probably the best, forest ground rather, is probably the best thing to paint. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. I'm actually, so far I haven't painted where the rivers are on the final map, but who knows? Maybe I'll get there. But look, here we go. What you're trying to demonstrate was that we now have a country road with trees along the edges of it. And by the time you get to the thinning of the herd stage, and you just 2 or 3, probably 2, but we'll do 3. If you just come along, just keep whizzing over that until you get just a smattering of trees along the country road. And that almost looks realistic. Good. Well, let's have a look at what this map looks like when it's covered in trees, shall we? And how long did that take you? Okay, we're on 37 now. We're on 45 hours. And basically I have just planted everywhere along the creeks and along the cliffs. See? Cliffs. Yep. Cliff. Yep. Cliff. And around the painted bits. Okay, just brushed it on thick as. Oh, and here's some of the roads that I was talking about. Just a little bit of a... Well, that's through an urban area, so you don't want... You probably could have put trees along there. I maybe did later. There are some bits that I've missed. The question now about trees. Right. How many trees are you allowed on a map? Ooh. Good point. Doesn't matter. I have plastered these on thick as. Because, let's see how many I've got. Okay. Want to place a bet? No. Go on. Well, there's at least several million. Okay. If I use advanced statistics, click on asset, and 2.5 million trees. And no Scotch pines amongst them anywhere. Yes. Well done. Wow. But 2.5 million. Now, wow, that's a lot of trees. Yes, it is. And when you consider that there's a hard tree count in a game like City Skylines, I think it was 250,000, or maybe it was 500,000. Because trees, lots and lots of trees, affect the ability of your graphics card to play properly. So I think 2.5 million is far too many. I try to get around 500,000 to 800,000 on my maps, because that seems to be a reasonable number of trees. But what does the game think? Good question. Okay, let's... what are we doing here? I am going to quit to the main menu, right? And I'm going to free game, large, 1 to 3, right? That's what we're building. Okay. Forest, I'm just going to stick it in the middle, and we're just going to have a little look and see. Oh my God, 20 towns, 97 industries. Yeah. Okay. Look, all you're looking at here is the tree count, so let's just do it. So here's the standard map. How many trees have we got on a standard map? Let's have a look. The game is going to tell us 773. Sorry, try again. 41,000 rocks, 730,000 trees. So that's what the game thinks is enough. Let's say 700,000 to 800,000, which is the ballpark. And yeah, okay, good coverage, right? Forests on hills, little pockets of forest on the flats. Don't necessarily like that, but we've also got a lot of scattered trees in the open areas, which may or may not happen on my final map. But certainly no rocks. Hate the damn things. Okay, so we've got to start by thinning out the trees from 2.5 million down to 800,000-ish now. Oh, you're in the wrong area. Oh, I know. I need to quit to the main menu and go to map editor and load a map, and that's that one. Now, I have multiple areas where I've thinned the tree count, and basically this was just the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, and yeah, a little fiddling around. So let's just go straight to look. So how long did it take? 4:15 to, oh, that's not bad, just thinning. Yeah, all right. We will go to that one. I think the tree's final. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at the final tree count. Ooh, what's it going to be? Don't know. It's not final though, because I'm still working on the map and I'm still adding trees, and as I see things I'm deleting them and farting around and doing all sorts of stuff. So almost final then. As long as it's nowhere near 2.5 million, buddy. Yeah. Hopefully not, because, well, A, my Mac won't be able to handle it in anything other than low graphics mode, which we're in at the moment. And B, no other potato will either once the game gets playing. Cool. Hurry up. Oh, look at that. Only 48 hours. Oh, my God. Yes. All right. Never mind. 48 hours after thinning. Right. It looks okay. Well, we spend a lot of time in this view. But in actual fact, if we come down to where humans might be, it doesn't look too bad. So, how many trees you got? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was we were going to look at that, weren't we? Right. Yeah, see? Thin. So what I did to thin, you're not going to show me how many trees. No, not yet. Assets, right. There, yes. Light brush, yes. Strength, 2. Right. Don't do it on 3 because it's a bit too savage. 2, you can control. It just means you've got to go backwards and forwards more. But basically, you just get it and you just go like that. And you thin it down. Right? Where the thicker bits are, maybe you don't want it so thick. In particular, around the edges of the hill, the top of the hill, I try to thin it out, and if you use the edge of the the light brush, you're able to get, yeah, see how that's not too thick around the edges, sort of blending in from the bare ground into the forest. But just, as I say, on 2.2 strength, not the full one, because, or just tappity tap, tap, tap. You might like to tap, or you might like to just drag it over. And we just do that an awful lot. That's a few too many on the river there. I think maybe they could be thinned out a little bit. Right. So, how many trees you got now? Acceptable number. Oh, thanks. Okay, I'll tell you. I'm just showing. I'm just touching ever so lightly. And where you've got some thicker bits, okay, come in with the edge of the brush. Or the smaller brush. No, the smaller brush isn't going to work so well when you're erasing. Right, okay, but don't go to 3, because if you go to 3 or 4, see, it tends to go chunky. It tends to take out a lot more in one go, and it's a lot more hit and miss. You've got more control over it as long as you stick with it. It's a bit slower, sure, but you've got more control. If I tried the same thing with 3, you see how it's actually killed an awful lot now, and it's not thinning the herd, it's actually decimating it. Right, okay. Trees, please. Tree count. Ready, set. Oh, 806,000. Well done, sir. Actually, 801,000 after I just deleted 5,000 with that little bit of fiddling around just in this area. Right. Well, that's an acceptable number of trees, I think, 800-odd thousand. Yeah, most computers should be able to handle that. In fact, if you are having performance issues, can I suggest you just do exactly what I did then and come in and thin the trees? Less for the computer to work with. I mean, you don't need to have this whole pile of stuff here. All right. Okay. Now that we have thinned the trees to the final count, right, well, almost final. The next step, come in and just, all right, click and hold the mouse down and just do follow along. I'm still holding the mouse down, by the way. I am deleting multiple versions of the first thing that I clicked on. So this is the quick bulldozer. Hold it down. If I take it anywhere else, I'm not going to delete that. It's only that road. It will still, however, delete that road, so be careful. We only want to delete where the creek is. Okay, and just as you whiz along, da-de-da-da-da, you're going to miss bits, right? And back to you, and back to you. And you can see the blue ones stand out like you know what's, so that you can find them. there was one, and we'll probably see it still on the final map, or the current final map. But let's have a look at the map now with no creeks. 48.8 hours, and I've killed all of the creeks. Or have I? Wow. Yeah, okay. This is what you've got left now for the creeks. Right? They look okay. You may, as I say, go and paint them if you want to. Entirely up to you. I'll think about it a bit more. I don't know whether I want to. But did I actually delete all of those roads? Guess what? Edge. Right, street. Ready for it? Street types. Large street. Damn. Somewhere on this map there's 5.9 metres. One little segment of a large urban street in one of these creeks somewhere. I'm never going to find it, so ho-hum. All right, cool. Now that we've got all of that done, what's next? Well, now we start thinking about where the hell we're going to put industries. Right. Okay. Conway Yard's looking good, isn't it? Yeah, well, all I've done is just, outline the major areas of Conway Yard here. There is a road. Where's the road? That's that one. Okay, no player ownership. Yeah, okay, so we're looking at the blue ones. No, we're not. That one's wrong. Yep. That one should be blue. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you haven't found that one before, so on the next map, which is the final one that we're going to be looking at today, I better come in and fix that. But anyway, there's the rail, and the red is the roads that run through the railway yard. There's another road in here somewhere. I've got to find it, I think. But it's split up into the zones. There's a hump thing happening on both directions. There's the westbound hump and the yard, and the eastbound hump and the yard here. So you can't actually model that in this game, unfortunately, and it's not level. Right. There's certainly a hump there. Well, there shouldn't be, and that's something else I will have a look at shortly. Yeah. I think you've got to get rid of that hump. Yeah, railway yards are meant to be flat, Stephen. Did somebody forget to tell you that? Well, I'll get to it. Told you I make these mistakes so that you guys don't have to. But that's probably... Oh, it's flat down to here. Sort of. Oh, enough fiddling around, please. This isn't the final map yet, so that we're only... What did you do on this side? I bet you did the same thing here. Not as bad. Still hump. Well, unhump it. Look, you guys are going to have to rebuild this. Because you have to. I'll provide a link to an outline of how the yard works. But this is just showing the areas. Interestingly, where is this one? Yeah, look. I wanted to look at the main line. So the top one's the westbound, the bottom one's the eastbound. Is that right? Yes, I think so. All right. Top one goes up there. Bottom one is this one on the outside. The blue one on the outside here. So top one, bottom one, and everything just fans off into the middle. So this section here is the westbound, and this here is the eastbound hump classification yard, whatever. Good luck trying to sort that mess out, I tell you. Okay. Can we get to the final? Because that's where it starts to get really, really exciting. Look, this map is going to be terrific. So let's do that. Bring up the final one. well, the current final one. Still got a lot more to go because I haven't put the towns on here or anything. We're just starting on the industries today, actually. A couple of hours ago. Yeah, a couple of hours ago. All right. Let's bring up the industries. Right, after 52.6 hours on this, the correct version of Conway yard. Oh, my God. 52 and 58 is 110 hours. My Godfather. All right. Let's see what we've got. Now, I don't have all the industries in place. What I do have is Pittsburgh Steel, 1 and 2. Right. And right up the other end of the map, over here in the Mesabi Ranges in Minnesota, I don't know how far away that is, but I know it's a long way. It's where the iron ore comes from for Pittsburgh Steel. So, why not? And down here, this isn't real. This is fake. I've added fake. We've got Pittsburgh Coal 3 and 4 there. Pittsburgh Coal here, 1 and 2. Oh, what the hell's going on? Oh, there's a golf course there if you want to have fun putting a golf course in at some stage. It's quite amazing, actually. Where's the Ohio River? The Ohio River actually comes out and around and down here. And this is back at river level again. So the Ohio River's through there somewhere. All the coal that comes from Pittsburgh actually doesn't come from up here. I should have put it down here somewhere because there's a south of Pittsburgh to the southwest is where the Pittsburgh coal seam is. Actually, it's not. It's about from here down to the southwest. So the coal mine should have been over here somewhere, but never mind. Let's have a look at this fake line that I've got in play, please. And for that, it's the medium country road that is player owned. That'll do. Player owned. Yes. All right. Okay. I come back up to Vanport. Right. This bridge doesn't exist. We've just connected two separate railway lines there for game purposes and put a nice little Y junction in there, which will be useful. But if we follow this one down the edge of the map, there's our coal. Woo. Stephen. Yes, I know. You just do it. Let's upgrade anyway. Okay, I'm on the final map, so now the changes that I make will actually, hopefully, apply. Coming through here. Yep. Nice tunnel. Hide it under that hill. Then come out through this area. Beautiful, look at it. Lovely. And there is a main road that runs through here as well. I've tried to connect it. Where it runs off the map in real life, I've actually bent it back on in places so that it still functions as a connector. So we come down to here at the bottom of the map and just get rid of that. Just in a little tunnel, a little curve out through the bush, round through another tunnel. Yep. And then along across this mighty little river bridge through here. I'm envisaging some sort of yard could be built there. It's over a kilometre long, so do what you will. And then it joins back up to the main line, and that is whatever branch you want to call it. Doesn't exist in real life. Remember that. Okay. Coming back up. Right. I did mention previously I've made that bit navigable. Although it was fun getting under here. I think it's navigable. Yes. That one is navigable. And then around there. So you could put, I can see passengers, some sort of passenger area there on that lake. I don't think that bit exists in real life, but does now. Okay, main roads, please. Main roads. Right. Main roads. This one went up this valley. No. This one went up this valley. This main road went up there. Right. It came up through here and then around and then came into the top of the map somewhere up here. So I moved that, but you can see by all the other blue ones that we've got, we've still got good linkage. Don't have anything across there. Bad luck. Okay, we've got good linkage. Right. Right, where are you going with this? It was looking at industries. Okay, so there's a sawmill there. There's a stone mine there. There's a forest there. And this bit up here, ooh, is it? Yes, it's navigable. So we can put in a harbour here and bring either that or that downriver. Right. You didn't end up putting trees along that road yet. Whatever. Let's go back to the main railway line. Right. Comes along the river with trees all the way along the river. I think this is going to be a fantastic little cab ride along through here. Look at this beautiful countryside. Okay. We have 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. That all go to the north. But for our purposes, we'll curve them around and join them up, right? With a bit of a Y here. They will disappear into a tunnel that heads off to Minnesota, to the Mesabi Ranges, iron ore, which is sort of separate enough, I think, from ground level anyway, from the rest of the map. Yeah, let's Alt-G that. No, we can't Alt-G it. Yeah, Alt-G. There we go. So that we don't have any icons to look at. And yeah, let me know what you think about painting the rivers. Whether all the bottom of the creeks should be painted or not. I don't know. It's only representational. I've got a lot more industries to add. Where are we? Oh, G. These are the ones that I've got so far. That many. Just basically raw resources. I did find a spot for a couple. United Tools. This is actually in real life a gypsum plant. And there's a conveyor belt that runs over to a dock here. That could be interesting. This is an engineering plant, which I've gouged out the hill to fit in the machines factory. What else have we got here? Chemicals. Not quite sure what is over here. Where are you? Come on. That can't skinny it. Okay. Chemical plant, steel mill, quarry, Mesabi, Minnesota Iron, Pittsburgh Coal, Brady, yeah, alright. That's what I've got so far. As you can see, I've got, particularly on this side, lots of room for farms. Farm. Okay, and if you have a look at the satellite image of the areas. There's lots of farming over in this area over here. Streets. Okay, this is the 2025 version, the current, whatever the current version is. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think what I'll do is, I haven't got to towns yet. No, can't get my head around it. This is Beaver Falls. Look at it, it's huge. I'm just going to build a little town in the middle here somewhere. Well, probably a large town in the middle there, and then just hopefully let it grow into that area. But there's towns all over the place. Rochester, no, sorry, that's New Brighton, isn't it? Rochester is here, Beaver is here, Vanport up here, Monaca, Monaca, Monaca. How do you say that, people? Monaca. All right. Freedom, yeah. East Rochester, Freedom, Conway, Baden, coming down to Ambridge. Huge. Look at this. Oh, I love this map. I really do. Now, there are some areas on the map that came out like that with the height map. Now, there's actually just several rows of streets there at terrace levels. I thought, that looks like the start of some sort of quarry, because, as you know, well, you probably don't know, where are we? I like giving quarries that sort of treatment. Okay, and I'm still, with the mines, trying to work out what to do. I do have some piles of coal here. I don't know what I'm going to... I don't think I'll... No, these are all underground, aren't they? Nah, I'm not going to... I'll leave that up to you. The iron ore mine, sort of, has a road that goes along and around and up, with a turning point up here. You could actually put an invisible road there if you wanted to, with a freight station, freight drop up the top, just to have the trucks lumbering backwards and forwards. Do what you like. Love it. Navigable river, yes, all the way down to the sawmill down here. Maybe you might like to replace these bridges with a different sort of bridge. 1910, I've moved the game forward so that I can use that rather than the stone bridge, because but these clear, this whole thing, this whole area looks freaking fantastic. I mean, you've got the river flats here for whatever town that is. Is that New Brighton? Okay, I'm back. I checked on it. This is New Brighton. This bit's Oak Hill. Right. It's going to be fun working out where to put towns and so on. East Vale here. I could put a tiny town there, but I don't know whether I want to actually use up my town count. When I say town count, I mean the count here with these. I might just place some buildings there, just plop them in, and out along here somewhere. But there was definitely one place that I thought I'll just plop a little village in. Where was it? I think it was way down the end of the map here. Over here, along the river. I'll flatten it first, because that will look so much better if both of those roads are at the same height. But you can imagine somewhere out here in the middle of nowhere, couple of plopped houses, a couple of several plopped houses, and a couple of commercial buildings. I think that'd look great, and doesn't add to the town count. And because that CB era A, B, and C assets, you can add population, so that we'll actually have people commuting along this road. Same here. Okay, these don't have to be real towns or real villages. Getting a bit windy. More weather. Makes it hard to try and do videos when the weather's as changeable as it is. But anyway, I don't have to use little villages which are going to add to the overall town count as far as the computer's concerned. Just plop some houses and commercial stuff down. Not many, half a dozen of them. This here, by the way, forgotten what that's called already. Meanwhile, I'll go back over to Google, and I've got Google Maps open on my laptop alongside Pittsburgh Intermodal Terminal. And next to that in here, metal plates and shapes. USA Metal Plates and Shapes. That suggests to me that some sort of engineering or machines factory is going to go right there. Yes. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. This is... I didn't show you how this worked, finally. Okay, there's the loop at the end. Okay, that one is the existing current railway line. You liar, pants on fire. That is a Stephen addition. Thank you. Good. Right, that's the existing line. This one continues on somewhere. Right, well, let me just get these things worked out. Okay, this one here is the main north-south one on that side of the river. That just keeps going down here. However, we have terminated it for a passenger station down wherever that is, and taken a loop under the river and around to join up with that one. And of course we've got a loop around the steelworks for your train purposes, for your goods train purposes. Now, the coal, how's this all going to work? Right, well, if you were to deliver the coal, coal's not going to be very profitable. I don't know. I think what would happen is the coal and the iron ore would come here to Conway Yard. Is this right? Bill, help. And then there'd be other trains that would take the minerals down to Pittsburgh, which is that way, another 5 or so kilometres to the steelworks. Actually, up to you. Play the game however you want. Dunno. You might want to just bring the coal and the ore in through here and use the yard for something else. But you'd be bringing steel out of here and taking it up to Conway Yard, and this is going to have spits carriers by the bucket load in here so that you can, have freight coming in and out and upside down. And my God, you're rambling. I know. I'm having fun. Right. There was another white one I wanted to have a look at. Okay, this one looks like there's, according to Google Earth, see all the rumpled bits on the ground. Looks like there's a quarry there. So guess what? There's a quarry going to go there, right? This one, yeah, nah, that's nothing. It's just streets. But it could be another quarry. If the ground is doing weird stuff, I'm thinking could be another quarry. Over here, I have to finish the roads, the streets in that section. Maybe, I don't know. as I mentioned before, there's a golf course here. You want to build a golf course? I love building golf courses in this game. Yeah. Nah. Dunno. Up to you. And a lot of this is not going to exist in 1910. I think what I'll probably do is I'll put a farm here and delete all of these roads. One farm, right? And delete all of these roads. Similarly, delete this lot, delete that lot, maybe put a farm over here. So 2 farms and kill all those streets. 1 farm out in the middle here and just have the road that connects them. Definitely get rid of that lot. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely get rid of this lot. These are all modern additions. I mean, I could imagine that road... Why are you not joined up? You probably should be. Okay, well, you will be. Okay. You can come up to there, right, and smooth. Thank you. All right. Ooh, well, maybe you didn't want to join that one. Look. No, maybe I didn't, because this one goes all the way through. So there'd be a farm here and a farm here. Now you say, hang on, there's so many farms. Oh, well, look. People have got to eat, and if you look at Google satellite images of this area, there's farms everywhere. So why are they not in the game? You know, you don't just want half a dozen farms, you want about 15, 20 bloody farms, I think. But anyway, I've still got to decide where all of the industries go and to make sure that I get them all balanced, because that in itself is another... But there we go. There's our progress after how long? Another 53 hours. Okay. Wow. Like I said, I do this so that you don't have to, and I hope that you guys have fun playing this map. Just because this is a USA, forget it. This will be absolutely freaking brilliant to play. Unfortunately, as usual, all of these player-owned streets that I've got here to show you where the railway lines go in real life. And you can learn so much by looking at all of this. I mean, I had fun working out what the hell was going on here until I realised I thought it was a street, but no, it's actually a little branch line that comes up to an industrial estate here. So, all sorts of interesting things. Where is the one? Where is the one? It's at the end of this. Here we go. Yeah, look. This one's got a little siding. This, I don't think it... No, it doesn't, because there's a road through there. This one here doesn't join up with the main line. Okay? It comes all the way from up this yard here, all the way along the back here, right? Serves these industries there, comes all the way along the river, comes down into a head shunt, and then back into this here, which I think is an oil refinery. If it isn't, it probably will be. Oil. Righto. Where am I going to put the oil? This is part of the problem, you know. All these oil is probably not to be found anywhere near this area. So Texas. Which way is Texas? Texas oil down here somewhere. Righto. That makes sense. We could put some oil wells down in here. Bit of a stretch. But this is what I love about the game. You can spend, well, as I have done, 50, 60 hours just making a map and then playing the damn thing. This looks, you know, come in. Oh, hello, oil refinery, fuel refineries, yes. Come down to ground level and look. Oh, this looks like some sort of coal dump. Yeah, and barges, if you look at the images. So we've got a harbour, harbourish thing happening here. That'll be fun. Hello, Monaca. Over to Rochester and East Rochester. That bridge doesn't go like... Oh, wait, that's the rail bridge. I was thinking of that one. Yeah, well, there's all sorts of little challenges like how does one get from the road into this road here? Right, let's go that way and that way. There's the rail in the blue. Right. Which then, junctions over and splits over and goes over that road and under this one. And oh my God, this... That's it. I've braved on long enough and I've got a lot more work to do on that. I'm checking population figures for the various towns in the 1900s. Not that... Just to get a feeling for which one's bigger than the other one, so that when it comes to pressing the town button and going whether you are medium or large or tiny or small, I've got a better idea of what to do. For example, this one here, which is Falston, tiny. Tiny town goes there. Right. If I was to do Eastervale as a town, it would also be tiny, right? However, Mount Washington, that's Mount Washington suburb right there. Right. I think, I don't know what I think. Beaver Falls is large, well, medium to large. This one is large. This one is medium. So Monaca, well, technically it spreads over here. So what's that? I don't know. You don't want towns that are going to grow too big too quickly, because you know what's going to happen. The computer's going to die, right? Because it's not about the town growth. It's about the transport. It's transport fever. It's not town fever. We'll come up with a new name for no new name for a game. But I've still got quite a few hours left on this. I hope you're enjoying the learning experience here. Come down. Oh, let's have a look. Final look back at our cliffs. We'll finish off here and decide whether or not from the bridge whether that looks good enough compared to Google Earth. Okay. I'll leave you with that thought. Let's compare and contrast the game versus the real thing, according to Google Earth. Hooray from me, goodbye from them, and thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Cheers for now.